Dr. Paul, Dr. Puri, Dr. Mahajan, Dr. Alok Roy, Mr. Sukumar, Dr. Preeta Reddy. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll try to stick to the allocated timeline, but in case I exceed, Dr. Puri, do feel free to interrupt me. Before we focus on the learnings for the future from this pandemic, we must try to assess what is it that we did or what is it that we are doing, the broad strands of that, because lessons for the future, learnings for the future would flow from what is it that we are doing. So let me focus on three broad strands of what the government did and is continuing to do. The first is adoption of this whole of the government approach. So what is whole of the government approach? This is an approach which says that tackling the pandemic or fighting the pandemic is not only the work of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in the central government and the respective departments of health in the state governments. It is the responsibility of the entire government. So how does whole of the government approach works? Let me give you two concrete examples. The first example is that within the government, 11 empowered groups involving all relevant ministries were constituted. For example, there was an empowered group 1, which was headed by Dr. Paul, which was given the mandate to project where the disease is going, what is the trend of infection, and what are the implications of the projections that we are doing. How does it translate into action on ground? So this was being done outside the Ministry of Health, but with active collaboration of Ministry of Health and with active collaboration of domain knowledge experts. Then there is Empowered Group 2, which based on the projections provided by Dr. Paul's group said that if this is the trend of infection, these are the number of beds that you would require, the isolation beds, the oxygen supported beds, the critical care beds. If this is the trend of infection, this is the kind of testing infrastructure you would require. Again, a group which was working outside the Ministry of Health, but with active collaboration of Ministry of Health. The third empowered group looked at what are the requirements of personal protection equipment, what are the requirements of N95 masks, what are the requirements of surgical masks, what are the requirements of nitrile gloves, what are the requirements of ventilators, from where these requirements would be met. Do we have domestic capacities? If not, how do we create those domestic capacities? So on and so forth. Again, this group was not hosted by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, but Ministry of Health and Family Welfare was a key participant in the deliberations of this group and was the ultimate beneficiary. Similarly, Empowered Group 4, that looks at what is the total requirement of doctors that we need, what is the paramedics that we require, how many people are available in the public sector, how many people are available in the private sector, how many retired professionals are available who would be willing to make their services for this purpose. So this is one example of multiple ministries working in tandem to tackle the pandemic and to strengthen the efforts of the nodal ministry, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, in ensuring that we put our best foot forward. So this is one example. The second example of whole of the government approach is that not only the government or the union government as we visualize it, but our missions abroad also stepped in. They identified capacities which were available during the initial months of March, April, May. May onwards, we developed our indigenous capacities. So they also help. So this is the whole of the government approach, and it has lessons for future. I would, deliberate on them at a later point in time. The second major strand of what the government has done or is doing is utilizing the grassroots public health network. Now, this is something which is unique to India. Although, on one hand, we highlight the fact that we are spending a fairly insignificant amount of the gross domestic produce on health, both the union government and the state government taken together, if we compare it to the amount or percentage that is spent in developed countries. Take a country like USA, roughly 17 to 18% of the GDP spent on health. But that spend is entirely based on a network of health insurance providers, which has its extreme limitations to deliver in a scenario of a pandemic. In case of India, when I say role of grassroots public health network, it means 10 lakh ASHA workers. It means lakhs of ANMs. It means lakhs of Anganwadi Sevikas and Sahikas. We must ask ourselves the question, who did the surveillance? Who manned the containment areas? Who did house to house search for active cases? It was these foot soldiers who did it. Which other country can claim to have such a huge force? And the credit is that in a shortest possible time, the state governments repurposed this force into disease surveillance, disease monitoring, implementation of containment strategy. So this is one less glamorous aspect of tackling the pandemic, which never gets reported in the media. So it has lessons for future also. The third strand that I would like to emphasize is the proactive role of the union government or the central government. We all know that health is a state subject as per the Constitution of India. There are certain aspects associated with health which are part of the concurrent list, but health as a subject is a state subject. Even then, it was the government of India's proactive role in the initial phases which resulted in enormous scaling up of our testing capacities from 1 lab to 1800 labs today. All hats off to the work done by ICMR in collaboration with public and private sector. From less than 100 tests a day to 15 lakh tests a day. Again, a very significant achievement. From beds which were not purposed to handle the pandemic to almost 14 lakh isolation beds today, 2.5 lakh oxygen supported beds, 65,000 ICU beds, which includes roughly 32,000 ventilator beds. Again, as the workforce of Ashas, ANMs, Anganwadi Sevikas was repurposed, similarly, the limited hospital beds were repurposed to address the needs of the pandemic. Again, hats off to the state governments, the UT administrations, and the union government working in tandem. Technically, a stand could have been taken that this is state subject, state must do this, but that was not the case. Then a need was felt that you need to have non-COVID essential health services also. Not all of your facilities could be repurposed to address COVID. And that brought forward the entire domain of telemedicine and IT-based platforms. The government launched National Digital Health Mission, which is now opening up new avenues. More about that we will come later in learnings. Then the government also repurposed its existing fledgling eSanjeevani platform, which was originally designed to do a consultation, a teleconsultation between two doctors, one sitting in the PHC and the other sitting in a in a medical education hospital, a specialty doctor and a regular doctor in the rural setting, and a patient who was sitting along with the doctor in the PHC. So this system was repurposed to enable it so that patient-doctor consultations could take place directly. And today, more than 4 lakh such consultations have happened. From April 2020 to October first week 2020, we have 4 lakh consultations on eSanjeevani. And where have these consultations happened? The surprise is that they have happened both north of the Vindhyas as well as south of the Vindhyas. North of the Vindhyas, it is UP, Uttar Pradesh, which has registered more than 1 lakh such consultations. South of the Vindhyas, it is Tamil Nadu, which has, registered more than 1 lakh such consultations. So 3 broad strands: whole of the government approach, role of the grassroots public health network, and proactive role of the central government. Now, based on this, what are the learnings for the future? The first learning is that we must, while strengthening whole of the government approach, transit towards whole of the society approach. If you are dealing with a pandemic, if the entire government can work as one, why can't the entire society work as one? And when I say whole of the society approach, this is where health seeking behavior needs to be strengthened. There have been rumors coming from some states that people were told, टेस्ट मत कराओ, अस्पताल में भर्ती मत हो, सरकार और राज्य सरकार के बीच में एग्रीमेंट है कि जितने मरीज भर्ती होंगे उतना पैसा मिलेगा राज्य सरकार को. So these rumors are also roaming around. But once you have whole of the society approach, then it is much easier not only to quell rumors, but also to strengthen COVID appropriate behavior. As the Honorable Prime Minister says, "Do gaj ki duri, mask hai jaruri." Why is it that in a city like Delhi, in metro, which is a highly regulated environment, every week we have 2,500 challans of people who are not wearing masks? So this means that we are still to transit from whole of the government approach to whole of the society approach. So this is the first learning for future, and we all have to collaboratively work together to ensure that this whole of the society approach happens. Then we come to the second learning. The second learning is that if the grassroots workers could deliver while they were repurposed, what would happen if we adequately train them? If we have a program of orientation and reorientation, if we have a continuous program of skill upgradation. So therefore, skill upgradation of ASHAs, skill upgradation of ANMs, skill upgradation of Anganwadi Sevikas and Sahikas, that is the way going forward. This is the second learning for the future. The third learning for the future is that you need to have critical care infrastructure, not only in our urban areas, not only in tier 1, tier 2 cities, but as Dr. Paul said, referring to RBI's circular, which now raises the credit limit for lower level of urban agglomerations also, tier 3, 4, 5, 6, tier 6 cities, our district headquarters, our villages. So what we need to do very seriously is to visualize critical care hospital blocks at district headquarter levels. And that is what presently the Ministry of Health is engaged in. In addition, we need to strengthen surveillance of infectious diseases and outbreak response. Presently, what we have needs to be strengthened, and we need to have metropolitan surveillance units. आप में से जिन लोगों ने रूरल इलाकों को नजदीक से देखा होगा या ग्रामीण परिवेश को देखा होगा, तो आपको ये मालूम होगा कि हर जिले में at the level of each district there is a post of district disease surveillance officer, and a large number of these posts are vacant. That's because this was never the priority area, either for the state government or for the policymakers. But the pandemic has rung the alarm bell. It has told us that these professionals at the district level, these disease surveillance officers, are absolutely imperative, and they need to be backed by a digital platform of disease surveillance and real-time update. So this is another learning going forward. The last learning going forward is strengthening digital health services and strengthening these services in such a manner that the privacy and security of the personal health records is maintained, that is not compromised, but equity by ensuring easy and equitable access to digital health services is ensured. I think I have overshot my 6 minutes. Thank you.